have learned all three approaches of reaching gross domestic product: output method, income method, and expenditure method. And then we learned how to convert gross domestic product into gross national income, and then gross national income into gross national disposable income, and thereby national savings. Today, our aim is to study that national accounting process as a summary by using actual figures in 2019 as a percentage of GDP. As a percentage of GDP, not the absolute values. This is the way we can easily compare. This is what is most important way of analyzing as a percentage of GDP. You know, in output method, agriculture, forestry and fishing, and then industries and services contribute to gross value added. The contribution of agriculture, forestry and fishing is 6.9 as a percentage of GDP, and the contribution of industries 26.4, and then the contribution of services, that's the largest sector, 57.5. When you add them all, you get gross value added at basic price. When you add them all, you get gross value added at basic price, which is 90.8. The addition of contribution of agriculture, industries and services. Then, this is basic price. Why do you call it basic price? Because it represents the entire amount of value or the money received by the producers for their value added, excluding taxes on goods and services, net taxes on goods and services, excluding, without including, net taxes on goods and services. That means indirect taxes are not added here yet. So when you add those taxes less subsidies on products, goods and services, or you can call it net taxes on subsidies on products, which is 9.2, it becomes gross domestic product at market price, which is 100%. And actually these taxes less subsidies on products can be divided into two. One, taxes less subsidies or net taxes on products paid by the producers, right? And net taxes on products paid by consumers or purchasers. So when you add net taxes on products paid by producers, it becomes the producer's price. Before reaching this market price, we can reach producer's price by only adding the net taxes on products paid by the producers. To that, we have to add net taxes on products paid by the purchasers. Plus, there is a value addition from the production stage to market stage. They are transportation charges and the trade margins of the wholesalers and the retailers. They are also added to gross value added at producer's price. It becomes gross domestic product at purchaser's price or market price. Right? Before reaching that, we can analyze these taxes into two types. Right? Then we learned how to convert gross domestic product into gross national income. This consists of non-residents' contribution to GDP. That has to be deducted because they are taking it their home, which is known as net primary income to rest of the world. It is deducted. And our residents, Sri Lankan residents, are earning primary income, contributing to overseas output, and it is brought to the country, and when that is added, that is called primary income from rest of the world. We get the net figure, that is net primary income from rest of the world, right? It is if the primary income from rest of the world is greater, it is a plus figure. If the primary income to rest of the world is greater, it is a minus figure. In Sri Lanka, it's a minus figure, minus 2.9. So that has to be deducted therefore. Then you get gross national income at gross national income. You can see gross national income of the country is lower than the gross domestic product. Gross domestic product is 100. As a percentage of gross domestic product, which is 97.1. Then we can analyze it further. Gross national income, as you know, 97.1. Then how do you convert this into gross national disposable income? What do you mean by gross national disposable income? Right? It is the this gross national income is only the primary income, which is earned from a production process by providing factors of production. It's a primary income. But for a nation to dispose, to use for consumption and savings, in addition to the primary income, secondary income is also available, which are the current transfers. Current transfers, right? So we call them net secondary income from rest of the world, which represents net current transfers from rest of the world. They are the official current transfers, the transfers received by the government, such as program aids and financial assistance. They are current transfers, monolateral, only one way. And the workers' remittances, the other component, workers' remittances, right? So while Sri Lankans are living in other countries, they are sending money here. They are not taken as a primary income, they are taken as a secondary income. So when that is adjusted, which is 6.9, which is a very considerable amount, it is greater than the net primary income. So as a result, there will be gross national disposable income, which is larger than gross domestic product. It is because net current transfers from rest of the world are greater than net primary income from rest of the world. Right. Then you know this is the income available for both final consumption and gross national savings. This is the income available for final consumption and gross national savings. So when you deduct final consumption from this gross national disposable income, which is 79.3, you receive gross national savings. Gross national savings which is 24.7. Right? This is the rationale behind is that gross national income, gross national disposable income is available to dispose on both final consumption and gross national savings. Final consumption consists of private consumption and public consumption, even non-profit institutions consumption. That is the total consumption of the country. When that is deducted, what you reach is gross national savings. Gross national savings consist of investment, net exports, net primary income from rest of the world, and net secondary income from rest of the world. Those last three components, net exports, net primary income and net secondary income from rest of the world, are related to rest of the world transactions. Sri Lanka's transactions with rest of the world. Net exports, that means export minus imports, that is with foreign countries. Net primary income from rest of the world, net secondary income from rest of the world. They are the current year's transactions, which are recorded in a particular account, which is known as current account of balance of payment. Balance of payment is the account where all the monetary transactions of one country with rest of the world are recorded. We will learn it later. For the time being, current account is the account where the current year's transactions, which are net exports, net primary income and net secondary income from rest of the world, are recorded. Right? So, you know, national savings consists of investment and then those three components. So when you deduct investment from gross domestic capital formation, that's another word for investment, right? When you deduct gross domestic capital formation from gross national savings, what you reach is current account balance of the BOP, which is a minus figure, because you can see investment is greater than gross national savings. That means with current transactions with rest of the world, Sri Lanka is losing, right? That is one reason why we are going down as a nation, as an economy, right? And then there's another type of account which is in balance of payment, which is called capital account. Capital account records capital transfers, right? Capital transfers, what is the difference between current transfers and capital transfers? Current transfers, the impact is only for the given year. In case of capital transfers, the impact lasts more than 1 year. For example, donation of a hospital from Chinese government to Sri Lanka. It's a transfer, it's a donation, right? And it's a capital nature transaction, transfer. So they are also recorded in this balance of payment, which is capital account, right? Then when you add this capital account balance of payment, you can identify whether a country is losing or gaining from transactions within the given year. You can see capital account balance is 0.3, which is very less in comparison to this deficit, right? So as a result, Sri Lanka is having net borrowings from rest of the world. This can be net lending or net borrowings. If it is a surplus here, right? If there is a plus figure here, then it is surplus. Then it is net lending to rest of the world. Sri Lanka can lend that money. Sri Lanka will never be able to do that anyway, depending on the situation now, right? Sri Lanka is having a deficit. Therefore, it is known as net borrowings from rest of the world. Sri Lanka has to borrow. Sri Lanka has to obtain loans from rest of the world to finance this deficit, which is 1.8, right? That means Sri Lanka's inflow of dollars is not sufficient to cover up the outflow of foreign currency. Therefore, Sri Lanka has to borrow, right? That is one reason why there is ever-growing debt stock, ever-accumulating debt stock in Sri Lanka. So this is the entire summary of national accounting. Please watch the same video several times, then you will understand what